some of them went as far as saying that we're going to pay 7,000. The finance minister, who you advise, campaigned in his constituency, telling people that this government, the Akufo-Addo government, was keeping their money, and that when he comes, he will pay them 6,000. In fact, after January 10th or so, he had an event where he said he will pay 6,000. In fact, that gave a farmer confidence to say that what he is going to pay is good because they have struggled for years with poor pricing. It's a published document. Okay? Now, so the question is, Obi, what is all this story? President Mahama showed us how to detect if somebody is backtracking and somebody is lying from what he has said he will do, and then he's changing his position. He says that when the person begins to stammer, begin to say, then you know the person is lying. My brother here, technically based on President Mahama's definition, he's just been lying to us. And the farmer who practically was telling us says that everything he was saying is fine English. That's it. You haven't said much. Look, when they were saying they will pay 70%, if you take 70% off the price we offer, FOB, which is 49,000 or so per
48,000
per ton, 70% of that is not 6,000. But that was the impression you created. You said you were going to pay people 6,000. Now you have come to power. Now you are making argument about 70% and that is promise achieved. You didn't say that your finance minister didn't say 70%. If 70% does not equal 6,000, then you have not fulfilled your promise.
No, it's 70% of the FOB, which is in dollars.
Yes.
So you would have to do the conversion.
I agree.
And then you get the farm gate price in cedis.
Yes. I'm just keeping this very fundamental. You do all those calculations per bag. We're looking at a promise that says you're going to pay 6,000. Okay. And the finance minister said that without compulsion in January, after he knew he was going to be finance minister, says that he will pay 6,000. Now they are making argument about FOB exchange rate that is gone down, and so therefore wickedly that is affecting them. It doesn't make any sense. Your promise is independent of whatever situation, because when you were making it, you knew the dynamics of the market will not be held constant.
Well, the argument has been that they made that promise based on the prevailing conditions at the time.
And I'm saying that
now the conditions may have changed, especially the cedi to dollar.
No problem. So the time that they were making the promise, they will pay 70%,
yes,
which is indicating that they would offer a better price to the farmer to win an election. Would 70% of the prevailing price then be equal to 6,000? The answer is no. The answer is no. But then they dribble farmers to believe that that's what they were coming to do. So now, if you have named the price, give the price. Otherwise, you lie to Ghanaians. They owe Ghanaians apology.
Irrespective of the conditions.
Nothing would suffice. They owe Ghanaians apology. He made a point about, there's a point that government kept the price, I think, second half of this year when prices were, coming down, and therefore they kept the 3,100 price, and assuming that they have given farmers 100%. That's another big lie. Look, Ivory Coast, who you always want to compare yourself to, in the second quarter, they actually increased price. They did increase. You didn't. And you held it there and say that you have done well by the farmers. You haven't. So the thing is not about speaking English about this thing. It's basic. People have produced a crop for a season. You are going to buy it. You promise you will buy it at a higher price. Now, in fact, Obi, this whole exchange rate conversation is even another fallacy. Because really, and I wonder, they announced this new price in August, right?
Yes.
And they used 10.25.
10.25.
Okay. They used 10.25. Obi, today, what is the exchange rate?
Almost hitting 11.
11. So are they going to recalibrate it? Remember when they were in opposition, they were talking about they will do spot pricing. Okay? So is that going to feature? Because if you calculate the price now with the exchange rate now, it's going to be more than the 3,228. So is that what you are going to do, sir?
But can that be done?
I'm asking him, he's here. Are you going to do that?
You want an answer?
Yes. Are you going to do it? Because your target is 6,000. Your minister said it. I'm going to read it towards the end of this. He said it. And the farmer took solace in that. In fact, there's one economist, Mary Opong, actually cautioned the minister that what he's saying, is he able to deliver when he was making that promise? And here we are. It's just shown that the minister cannot do it. In fact, the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, at a program, one of his thank you tour programs, was saying to Ghanaians and cocoa farmers, that look, the chief executive of Cocoa Board, my good brother, Dr. Randy Abe, will announce, I told him that in August they will announce a cocoa price, and it will be a very, very, very good price. And at that program, he was urging people who were not cocoa farmers to go and find land and start planting cocoa. Okay? So that creates a certain impression of something groundbreaking going to happen. Now here we are, a measly 128 cities and 75 pesos or so. How groundbreaking is that? 6,000. And the increase they can afford is less than 130 Ghana cedis. So the NDC owes Ghanaians apology. First of all, the larger Ghanaian population an apology, specifically cocoa farmers an apology. Because what they told them, for which reason, what is a Kwame Mensah or some cocoa farmer like that in the Western region, I read the publication for you, said that they are happy for once that they are going to get a better deal. They told Ghanaians that the new patriotic party, the Akufo-Addo government, is keeping their money. Because they could pay them 6,000 and we are not paying them. And the deception there is that if you do the 70% calculation, they say it's groundbreaking. My brother said President Mahama has fulfilled his promise. And I brought the social contract for purpose. If you make promises, otherwise, Obi, where we are heading to, our democracy will be taken for a joke. If politicians will sit on platform, strategically come up with lies, well-reasoned lies, and they carry it through, even after they have won, instead of tracking back, they still further that conversation.
But Richard, to be fair, because we don't pay cocoa farmers in dollars, you cannot have this argument without recourse to the prevailing forex rate. That would be disingenuous, because at the end of the day, you have to convert. And in conversion, if the CD is doing well, something would have to give, as he said.
That's English he's spoken, but the point is that, don't they know that when they made the promise? They're not naive, are they? They've been in government before. They were making the promise. The finance minister, January 2025, made the promise to pay 6,000. Are you saying that he doesn't know all these dynamics? Then we're in a much bigger trouble if he didn't know that. You get it? He knows everything. He knows what it was. Don't they know that the NPP was dealing with all those circumstantial matters? For which reason we're paying what we're paying? They say, no, we're keeping their money. They knew that. My good brother, didn't you know? You're an advisor. You should know. Well. Didn't you know that? Did you or not?
You want him to answer?
Yes, of course. Otherwise, then we're in a much bigger trouble. Because they knew. But what it was that it was a calculated lie they were forwarding. And they knew that they can deceive Ghanaians by that. And Obi, I want to read this thing.
Finally.
Finally. I'll do that. Okay. This is a farmer. You see, a farmer who grows cocoa. I'm just getting to the middle of the story. A farmer who grows cocoa all around farmers who grow cocoa all around the nation have expressed relief and hope. Western region farmer Kwame Mensah stated, this raise will enable us to better our farms and provide for our families after too long of struggling with poor pricing. Okay?
And this is
Ghana Web. Okay. Yes, 10th January 2025. And there in the same thing, the economist that I referred to, Mary Opong, told the minister, and I can even read that, to say that he was saying to the minister that what he's promising, the pledge he's making, she's not sure he can keep that pledge. But the finance minister went full steam ahead to say that that's what he's going to deliver.
Very well.
Now my good brother is here, running around in circles, arguing 70% of FOB, which is not equal to 6,000, talking about every other thing that he gave almost 100% to farmers second quarter of the year, which is not close, which is not 6,000. So the question I am asking is that, what has happened to your promise
to pay
6,000. Very well. Frederick, hold on for me. I'll come back to you. Let me go to lawyer Kofi Bentel. Kofi, so you heard the spokesperson of the cocoa farmers, and essentially he thinks the bureaucracy managing cocoa in Ghana is too huge. And that's how come they are not getting the full benefit of their toil as cocoa farmers. You agree?
Absolutely correct. Indeed, he's not the first person who has said it. We have said it in the money many times in the past. We've said, from first principles, do we need cocoa board? Why was cocoa board created? When it was created, the idea was cocoa board will be a help to farmers by doing things for them that they couldn't do for themselves, because the idea was that they were not organized. So it was mobilizing help to farmers. And the way to deal with that was, okay, mobilize the cocoa, sell it, take a bit of it, and for instance, do mass spraying, do all those things. That was the original idea. And from when independence and we set it up and we were working, it was good. It helped farmers and it helped the country. It mobilized for the country. Because you had some people who were thinking about farmers and thinking about bettering their lot. An important point about Nana, who just spoke.
Yeah.
That man you just saw is the potential future of the cocoa industry if we abolish cocoa board. We have said over the years, you can check, that as we speak, and from an Imani point of view, per analysis, from a first principles point of view, cocoa board is a net negative to this country. Yes. If cocoa board did not exist, the gentleman who just spoke and people like him can organize better, export their cocoa, make better prices. Today, even today, with the promises from the politicians, they are promising to pay them 70%. That's a 30% tax. We have said also in the past, fortunately I have Prof. Bopin here, he's a fellow and he will do the economic numbers. We have said in the past that cocoa farmers in this country are amongst the most taxed. How do you tax poor people to that extent? And for what? It is Prof. Bopin who said that the cocoa board has more V8s than cocoa beans. And he's right. And I'm saying, look, as we speak, you have that huge behemoth, that huge organization. It is just making people rich and farmers poor. And today, as we speak, cocoa board is a net negative to the average farmer and a net negative to this economy. Look at the debt hanging on them. Who do you think is going to pay that? That is impacting our city. All of us are paying for that. When you start doing the analysis, you realize that we've treated cocoa board like we've treated every other, state entity. Good ideas, and then you put people there, and it simply makes people rich and makes the country poor. Cocoa board is in the same league as other entities like Tamale Refinery. Same story. Great ideas should have been, a positive on our economy. It starts just leaking off the economy, and then individuals are getting rich. Busts.
But would that mean we should scrap cocoa board completely?
I'm telling you.
If it's inefficiency in management, why don't we fix that?
You think we haven't tried fixing it? We've been saying these things, and people think we are talking ideology. All right? The problem is government. You have people there are too many people wearing suits sitting in cocoa board who don't listen to Nana. The gentleman who just spoke. Did you get the intelligence and the knowledge of the cocoa industry? How many people in cocoa board understand it like he does? And why does anybody think that those guys sitting in cocoa board wearing suits can do a better job than Nana? So why should Nana be paying them? And this idea that people are revolted by, nobody owes anybody a living. When a cocoa farmer is struggling in the farm, and you come and say, I am going to help run your life, and I'm going to make it better, and you end up taking 30% of his money. And by the way, please, it is extremely disingenuous to use the exchange rate at any point in time.
Why so?
Let me tell you, when the currency of a country strengthens, the potential economic benefit is far higher than the downside. People tell you the theories about export, whatever it is. We have had damaged currency and our export hasn't increased. But if it strengthens, everything gets better. The simple thing, and I'll leave it to the economists, the simple thing is this. If you promise farmers 6,000, you can pay them 6,000 in CDs and you take the hit.
Government should take the hit.
Absolutely, why not? You're taxing them 30%. And who should take the hit, you or them? Who is doing the work? So they should stop this argument about it's the exchange rate. The simple question is, who should take the hit? If you say 6,000, pay 6,000. Because you see, if the other thing happens, they are not going to flip it. Okay, so look, dealing with the broad issues, I'm saying, look, Cocoa Board at a point was a positive, was a vehicle that added to what we had. If you spend 10 cedis on Cocoa Board will deliver 100 cedis to you because it helped us. In fact, the building of the University of Ghana, if you know the history of it, okay, they came up with this simple idea. Let's take a bit of money from each cocoa bag. They took it in a targeted way. That's why we have that institution there.
That's why we have a Kwafu Hall.
That's why it's named Kwafu Hall. Okay? The cocoa scholarships. He said, okay, these people, let's organize something and help their kids to grow. People sitting in Accra who can't tell the difference between a cocoa
tree and
are the ones. I am making a simple point, and the simple point I'm making is from first principles. It does not make sense to take the money of poor, hardworking farmers and give it to Accra-based suit-wearing people sitting in air conditions. Look at the number of people working in Cocoa Board, and for these people not to be helping the farmers, but essentially leeching off them, sapping them, and sucking them dry. If we collapse Cocoa Board today, Ghana's economy will be better and farmers will be better. They can organize them.
But how would farmers be better, and how would the poor farmer in Seshioso organize better, export the cocoa beans from Ghana? How would he do it?
This idea of poor farmer from Seshioso, which is true in a certain sense, is very wrong in another sense. Listen, before Cocoa Board, before we established an organized system for buying and selling cocoa, farmers were selling and exporting cocoa. And indeed, the middle class in Ghana, the park grants, were either traders or cocoa farmers. It was cocoa that was making people rich. Go to your village now. When you see an old, well-built building, it used to belong to a cocoa farmer.
Yeah,
we have moved cocoa farmers when they were on their own from being the middle class and the upper middle class persons in this country who were feeding the gentlemen in Accra and made them poor. So this poor farmer, cocoa farmer from, you just saw a cocoa farmer. And you saw the intelligence coming out of that gentleman. On Zoom.
Cocoa farmer
on Zoom. Sitting at the cocoa tree. Okay? And so we have these concepts. And this is what leads to a situation where they say, oh, so somebody must organize and help them. And then you go and bring people who have no idea what cocoa farming is about. And then the next thing, they buy a series of V8s, they sit inside, and then that cocoa farmer has to fund their life, which has no bearing on them. Listen, we have therefore conceptualized this whole thing wrong.
Okay.
All right? And I'm saying from first principles, if the existence of Cocoa Board does not add to the cocoa industry, if indeed it is a net negative to the average farmer and a net negative to the economy of Ghana, from first principles, scrap it and let's start something afresh.
Very well.
It is possible that cocoa or Cocoa Board can organize to make cocoa better, but today they are not doing so. And I don't see a reason why you can't call Nana and a couple, and I've met a couple of them. A lot of chiefs, very educated, they're involved in cocoa farming. We have a situation today, let me tell you for a fact. The analysis shows that in the next 30 years, if we don't stop Galamsey, cocoa farming cannot compete against Galamsey. The economics is just not there. So we will lose our cocoa farms to Galamsey. So we really need to sit up and decide what we're going to do about cocoa industry. And Cocoa Board is the problem, not the solution.
Thank you. I'll bring Prof in, and Prof, I would refer you to an article by Dennis Asare. Dennis is a senior research fellow, associate actually at Imani Africa. And he writes a very interesting article titled "Sweet Prices, Bitter Livelihood, the Reality of the Ghanaian Cocoa Farmer." And the data he shares is worrying. I mean, the fact that close to 70% of Ghanaian cocoa farmers cultivate just at most 2 hectares. And then that can give them close to some $8-9 a year.
Yes.
And where it gets even worrying is the fact that when you take the average cocoa farmer in Ghana, who should earn a living income of $1.96 every day, is doing way less than that. Based on even the current 3,228 we are paying them, they are still not making that average $1.96 pesos for close to 70% of cocoa farmers. And that's really scary.
You mean that that's
what is wrong?
They are in extreme poverty, essentially.
Too much.
Yeah.
What is wrong with the economics?
Okay, thank you very much, and good morning to our cherished listeners. And my big boss is here, so I was wondering, like he has taken all the points out of.
There's enough for you to talk about.
Okay, thank you very much. So I agree with Kofi largely. Look, the pricing regime, the management structure has only left the cocoa farmer poorer. Let me take you a little back into history. When colonization changed our economic model from food dependency to cash crops, cocoa farmers were the ultimate beneficiaries.
They were the richest.
Yes. They were the richest. They were the richest. When we took over, when fellow Ghanaians took over, I hope you understand that.
I get you.
This is the results. My father was a cocoa farmer. I mean, and we talk about cocoa scholarships.
Yeah.
Maybe Cocoa Board should do the analysis and tell us over the years how many cocoa farmers' children have truly benefited from the administration of cocoa scholarship and all of that over the years. Look, you just have to go to the villages and see what cocoa farmers are going through. But you see, if you look at what we are talking about right now, it's years of neglect.
Sure.
So we are putting all the blame now on the current administration. Look, I don't want to go into the politics of it. And if you are talking about apology, both the NPP and NDC, they owe Ghanaians apology.
Big time.
I won't go into the details of all of that, but I'm going to talk about just three things that have heightened this discussion. One, exchange rates. The aggressive strengthening of the currency has more or less has its own negative effects.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we're using the exchange rate of, let's say, last year at this price, dollar price, you will see that the discussion would have changed and all of that. And it was a bit interesting when the minister actually quoted the new cocoa price in USD, because that is a story worth telling.
Yeah.
But if you translate it to see this, then I hope you understand that. So that was, I would say, a smart one there, right, and all of that. But it's not only that cocoa farmers are the highest paying tax or taxed. There's another way that we also cheat the cocoa farmer through lower exchange rate.
Okay.
So here you are saying that you are passing on, or you are retaining 30% of the FOB. But then the exchange rate you use over a period end up also not passing on the gains to the farmer. So for instance, we do our calculation, okay, we are using 10.25 and all of that, but really, if you check the real exchange rate or what is in the market today is higher than that. Over a long period until the next pricing window, the farmer doesn't really get all of this. So it's not just the 30% we are holding, but because we are also using a lower exchange rate, okay, in converting the USD to cedis, again, it affects the farmer. You recall 2012, 13 thereabout, there was an interesting discussion between Cocoa Board and Bank of Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay, where Bank of Ghana was using a lower exchange rate to buy the cocoa proceeds, and they were reversing it in the market and opening, and they were making profit and all of that. So, look, we've adopted all kinds of, look, when we say we are smart, all that it means, let's cheat fellow Ghanaians. Let's adopt this, and then Kofi has also spoken about the inefficiencies of Cocoa Board. Look, it's not just Cocoa Board. If you check our state-owned enterprises, please, it's hurting to look at even the losses from there that the ultimate taxpayer has to come and assume. Let's go back. 2025 budget. In fact, not just 2025. You can check 2023, 2024. But I'm talking about 2025 budget. We have an allocation of 33.6 billion Ghana cedis that we call other expenditure. Please, what is this other expenditure? I hope you understand that. essentially to cover for the inefficiencies of state-owned enterprises.
Private pockets.
We are covering for their inefficiencies largely. So the question is, if we were to run our state-owned enterprises efficiently, we could be making savings. This could have gone into maybe critical infrastructure or something like that. But I also see, look, I mean, let's be fair here. I see a certain genuine effort on the part of government to meet cocoa farmers
halfway.
I mean, we can't take that away from them. Look, if you... Yeah, we can't take that away from them. Agreed. And then
you mean the issue of free fertilizers
and all of that, and even if you look at the FOB price and what they are passing on in terms of USD to farmers, I can see some improvement from that. But I think we should be looking at a whole reform in that cocoa value chain that makes that sector attractive to young people and then attractive to business people. We need to adopt a business approach to the cocoa industry so that we don't leave it to just peasant farmers who do 4 acre or so and all of that, so that we have commercial a plantation of cocoa, because we think that our future lies in there rather than just this kind of, well, if you like, otherwise in the next 10 years or so, we will not be talking about cocoa here, because actually some of them, if you do the analysis, they may be better off maybe trading off their farmland, cocoa land, for galamsey, because if you look at how much they are getting on a daily basis, the analysis you refer to and all of that, they are doing all those analysis. Cocoa farmers are confused. They are wondering which way to go and all of that. So please, I think that this is a failure.
A quick statistic. Cocoa Board employs about 10,000 people across Ghana.
The staff of Cocoa Board?
Yes. And has a monthly payroll of about $12 million.
$12 million
every month.
12 million cedis or dollars?
Dollars. Check. About, if you look at the emoluments that they pay on a monthly basis, 10,000. And by the way, I'm not sure anybody knows the exact figure. But you see, we say these things, you're shocked.
Very.
So I would want somebody to tell me it's not true. Because we checked and that's the information we got. I just checked again right now. $12 million converted to Ghana cedis being paid to some people every month to take care of cocoa farmers.
Very well. So I think it's only fair that I allow Frederick to deal with some of the issues, and then I conclude with Nana, who is still on Zoom. Yes, Frederick, you've heard all the analysis.
Sure. On Kofi Bensel's first principle, whether we even need Cocoa Board at all, that's a philosophical argument we can make, and even extend it to other states agencies or other authorities or other regulatory authorities in the economy. I mean, we cannot seem to suggest that these agencies are not important. And Cocoa Board, for example, I mean, we are saying that there's a supposed tax of 30% on the farmer, but the farmer doesn't transport, the farmer doesn't export, the farmer doesn't ship, the farmer doesn't look for farmers, the farmer doesn't look for all the things that would...
They don't pay LBCs.
They don't pay LBCs, all the things that would take the cocoa from the farm to the destination in Japan. So we shouldn't just simplify it as though
all of that cost is in the remaining 30%.
All of that cost is the remaining 30%.
Sorry. Farmers don't do that. The buyers go to the farm gate. And they handle that stuff. So I don't mean to banter with that. Let's be clear. Farmers never do that.
I mean, I'm saying that the Cocoa Board, apart from we create an impression that maybe it's just an entity which is just there to siphon money from farmers, provide other services. I mean, for the broader conversation about whether they are being efficient and all those things, it's something we are looking at. It's something we can talk about. And that is why there's a Cocoa Board restructuring going on. Another finance minister mentioned what it is that Cocoa Board effectively, in the next amendment that is coming to their act, will be banned from undertaking all these quasi fiscal activities, the cocoa rules and everything. And we announced that we have banned them actually from going on with these cocoa rules and other fiscal activities. All the outstanding cocoa road projects have been transferred to the Ministry of Roads and Highways to undertake them. So there is an effort by this government to ensure that there's some efficiency in the operations of cocoa. Now
but beyond what government has done with the cocoa roads, Kofi speaks about the sheer numbers in terms of the staff of Cocoa Board and how much we are spending on them. proper reform should look at that as well. No?
Excellent. So that's why there is an overall restructuring going on. And the economy, my other economists will tell you that apart from providing or ensuring efficient markets, entities are also they are set up for other reasons. Okay, provide employment, they provide regulation, they provide stability. So there are other reasons where these entities are. But it's a broader conversation we all have in the restructuring of Cocoa Board, which is happening. Rachel says that we lied when we said that they were keeping cocoa farmers. We didn't lie. And I mentioned here that the FOB price they quoted, for which they paid 63% to farmers, 4,850, is actually lower than the prevailing FOB price at that time. Yeah. It was around 7,300. So they were keeping 2,450 of cocoa farmers. They didn't declare.
Cocoa farmers' money.
Of cocoa farmers' money. That is why we said they were keeping cocoa farmers' money. So that's what we mean.
But they also told you that in terms of the FOB, the average for the year was that amount.
So the average for the year was 7,300. You can check. Cocoa price. The average for the year was 7,300.
But they quoted
4,800. And
from that they paid 3,100.
Then they paid 3,100. You understand?
Yeah.
We have quoted the average price as it is, 7,200. That's on the international market price. And hit the 70% off on it. And quoted the 5,050.
Okay.
So we didn't lie when we said they were keeping cocoa farmers' money.
Very well.
That is number one. The other thing is that, you see, you mentioned commercial farming and all these things. And part of the restructuring going on there right now, as we speak, government, I should say, is currently working to acquire over 200,000 hectares of land. Because you see,
200,000 hectares of land
for cocoa plantation.
But that's huge.
That is huge.
Government is
so
going to farming now.
No, government is not going to farming. Government is just identifying, and the private sector
will then take
because
over.
You see, let's admit, because of the land tenure system and all these things, you will need the sovereign to sort of put its weight and then ensure that
it's a barrier to FDI.
It's a barrier. So a lot of work is going on into this. Of course, I mean, it's still in the works, right? So a lot of work is going on to it to ensure that we would have an environmentally stable way of ensuring that our cocoa farms are still. I mean, we
very well.
Very quick. I want to,
Is it a follow-up question?
Yeah, it is very important. One, do you appreciate that the nature of our cocoa industry is a smallholder one?
Yes.
And that has a connection to the quality of our cocoa, which gains a premium. The plantation model kills that. Ivory Coast is an example. Sorry, please.
Okay.
Answer this together.
Okay.
Have you considered the cocoa galamsey economics, which tells us today that in a trajectory of 30 years, cocoa is going to go down? Now, if you're going to go into cocoa hectares, okay, as plantation model, you appreciate the kind of science that is required and the kind of knowledge and expertise, which is very different. Is the government going there? Please, this is the last one.
Yeah.
How much have we budgeted for that project? And how sure are we that we are going to get money? Because I can tell you, whether NDC or NPP, that the money will be spent. But at the end of the day, we'll come and give excuses why it failed.
No, but I think you said the government is only acquiring the land.
No.
And the private sector will come in.
Let me 3 or 4 things.
Let me explain.
The economics of it. Okay, you go ahead.
Relax. Relax. We are just serving the soup. You are drinking the food. You are drinking the soup. See, the issue about the viability of the cocoa industry, that is what is informing government to take this step of doing or taking a bold intervention. Our quality, Ghana's premium cocoa, as vis-a-vis the other countries, is sort of a technology we have developed, which will be incorporated. So all these things are being worked on. Please let me answer. like I said, all these things are being worked on. But the most important thing I wanted to respond to Professor.
Finish my own. If you do everything, the quality thing you're talking about, because of time we can't go there, but the plantation model does not preserve our quality.
No, you can't make that. No, relax. You don't make that category. That's
definite statement.
No, don't make that definite statement.
Oh, if we have time, I'll explain.
No.
The way we dry the cocoa, the way our farmers use the smallholder system and their families
To dry their cocoa. You can't get that
So
in the
what? The
plantation
plantation
scheme.
model can't do that.
So
doesn't
what
do
makes
that.
you think
and
that?
it affects the quality?
What makes you think that the plantation model cannot dry the cocoa like we are drying
Because
now?
Ivory Coast has done that.
What
It
makes
is
you
a
think that
science.
we'll do the same plantation like Ivory Coast is doing?
Oh, so you're going to do something? Somebody has done it next door, and you think you're going to?
No, but
Okay,
it's
so
still-
relax.
it's still
I
in the
hear you.
works.
It's still in the works.
It's still in the works. That's what I'm saying. You see, I'm happy for you to try and develop the cocoa industry.
Ask him how they are going to do it.
But my worry, based on all this analysis we've done over the years, the money will be spent. I'm telling you, the first major problem, the Galamsey cocoa economy shows that cocoa cannot compete with Galamsey. So if you do all of these things and we don't deal with Galamsey, forget it.
It will not work. Okay, finally, and let me bring Nana in.
So on the economics of things, I mean, I'm sure the paper will be out. You will read it. As usual, we would invite civil society like yourself and to critique.
I've invited of that.
Oh, we invite you. We are researching.
So you can talk to our researchers.
Not
money.
Palm oil and all of that. So,
we always open ourselves. Yeah, we always open ourselves up. We put
so I'm willing to give government the benefit of the doubt here.
To critique whatever policy we are bringing to ensure that. But what I'm saying, the point or the crux of my argument is that there is an effort to restructure the cocoa sector and reduce or eliminate the inefficiencies therein. We admit that there are inefficiencies. That is why government is taking these steps to ensure that the cocoa sector is viable over the next 30 years and beyond, and then also it is viable now and we don't lose our cocoa industry.
Freddie, thank you. Nana, are you still on the line? Okay, I hear Nana will be rejoining any moment from now. I just wanted to find out. Nana, are you on now?
Abusiafo ye damase se wa hwedu sampempe so mesoro say on like here na wa like amaye na wa subscribe to your channel no na wa do comment account Ahiagbah TV ye dawase